Previously on AOR.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Bahrain for the 4th round of the 8th season for AOR PC Split 1 with Box Gaming. I am of course Justin, and as always I am joined by Miko.
Hey guys.
And also today we're very lucky to have the Season 4 Split 1 champion, Onage, joining us today as well.
Hi.
And so today we're going to be covering the 29-lap race here in Bahrain. And as with the previous 3 races this season, this was not a track that got raced at last season in Season 7 because it was the first 4 races were postponed because of the issues with the game and all that. So we don't have any previous results, but this is the last track that'll be like that. So starting in Spain, we will actually have the results from the previous season so you guys can get a little bit of an idea of how everyone did in the race last season. And I'll give you a little bit of an idea of how they might do this year. So we got, I believe it's 12 cars on the grid. We're missing a few people. But here is Onage with the side-by-side qualifying comparison featuring Jack First and Alex Gillen.
So we have Alex in on the left hand side here and Jack First on the right hand side. They both use no curve straight off the line, but they obviously DRS is wide open for both drivers. So they head down into turn 1 right now. And look at this, Alex Gillen nails the apex beautifully. He couldn't get it any better there. And he gets on the throttle there very, very well. Then both drivers using about 30% of their curves as they head down into turn 4. Braking marker is the 100 meter board on the left hand side as Alex Gillen flicks the car into first gear for a second there just to get it turned in. And look at this. Makes use of the track as much as he can. So both drivers rounded up the first sector as we enter corners 5 and 6, and Alex Gillen had a bit of a mistake there and goes deep into corner 7. Will compromise his exit speed, and Jack First definitely gained a little bit of time on him there. Then to crucial corners 9 and 10. If you get these two right, you're basically on for a very good lap. You could see Alex there nailing the apex much better than Jack First, and Jack First actually got a little bit of oversteer on the exit of on the entry of corner 10 and mid corner oversteer as well, so that compromised him heavily. Now down into corner 11, 12 and 13, pretty straightforward. Obviously full throttle here as they go uphill and rounded up the second sector. Jack First swings his car into corner 13 a little bit more than Alex. He was a little bit more to the left hand side and allows him to get very early on the floor. Then both drivers using all of their curves, so they have no curves remaining out of the final corner, which is corner 14. Alex Gillen brakes just after the shadows of the board, same for Jack First, and Alex gets a beautiful exit, bit of oversteer on the exit there. Meanwhile Jack First had a very, very stable exit out of that corner, opening up the DRS for the run through the line, and Alex was fastest there.
Thank you, Onage. So it is Umur on pole for the first time in AOR, only 14 thousandths ahead of Alex Gillen. On the second row are Furkan Özcan and Jack First, whose teammate Fat First disconnected during the qualifying. And on the third row are Kramma and Granu, while championship leader Kifla manages only a 7th place on the grid.
All right, it is race time, and the Williams of Umur Boyaji, actually it's Boyaji. I was told by Cem, he was kind enough to correct me on, it is Boyaji actually, who is starting from pole position for the first time. Really impressive performance. He's looked really strong, although he's struggled during some of the races this season. It's a 0% chance of rain. We've got 4 lights. We've got 5 lights. And they're away, and the top 10 are definitely going to be starting on the option tire, the medium compound tire for this race. We're on board with the Red Bull of Jack First currently, as he's using about 50% of his KERS. Maybe have a look up the inside of Furkan Özcan, braking very early, actually, and it looks like Granu in the Mercedes. Oh, and actually, we've already had a spin. We've already had an incident. Looks like Umar, after starting from, as we actually could hear Alex there asking about it, looks like Umar has spun in the first corner. I'm not sure what exactly the circumstances were there, but we're hopefully going to get a replay of that as we see Izamusing having a little bit of a look on Kifla here, actually, surprisingly enough. Izamusing looking very strong at the start of this race as Granu is up into 4th place position now, just ahead of Kifla and just behind that Red Bull of Jack First. And really clean start aside from the spin with Umar in the back there. Moving on board with Kristian Nenov as we're going through turns 9 and 10 in the Caterham, and he is just behind F1 DJ, who once again is showing that he likes to take a different approach as far as the strategy is concerned. He is starting on the prime tires, and actually, did he qualify on those tires, Miko?
He actually didn't set a time at all, so maybe that's a strategic, something to do with his strategy. So
yeah,
just not qualifying at all,
okay,
or at least didn't set a time.
Interesting. I do expect this is going to be a 2-stop race as we're on board with Alex at the moment. If you were doing this race, Onage, what do you think you would be doing? Options at the start and then 2 prime stints?
I would start on primes and then 2 options.
Oh, okay, interesting. You know, that's actually something that I was thinking about personally when I was just kind of looking over the whole race. I was thinking I probably would have started on the options, gone for the primes, and then finished off on the options. But yeah, you know, starting on the primes and just getting those out of the way, especially during these opening laps when everyone's all bunched up, as Izamusing just shoots up the outside of Kifla there, who has now dropped down to 6th, and it looks like he's coming under attack from Cem Bolukbasi behind in the Mercedes, and he is going defensive. I'm not sure if Cem is going to have a look. Yep, he is pulling alongside. He's going to try the cutback now. And that's a very popular overtaking location. Moving a little bit farther up the grid, we're back on board with Jack First at the moment, who is riding just behind Alex Gillen. And up in first there, I do believe that is Furkan Özcan in the other McLaren. So yeah, it is indeed Furkan Özcan up ahead in the other McLaren, who is having a really good start to his race. After qualifying in the top 3, he's moved himself up to first. And Kifla now, once again, coming under attack from Cem in the Mercedes. And Cem's going to have the inside line for this corner here. And there's a little bit of contact between them. Nothing too major, though. And Cem is still alongside. Okay, there we go. He slots in finally at the end there. And what a start to this race. Kifla has used up a lot of his KERS already, actually. And he's dropped back quite a bit. You can see there's a little bit of a gap forming in between the top 3 or 4, I believe it's 4, and Kifla now. And Furkan Özcan moving to the right here and trying to keep Alex Gillen out of his slipstream. No DRS just yet. This is a track that's relatively easy to overtake, as we do see Alex move up the inside of Furkan there. Furkan's going to have a little bit better of an exit. Onage, how important would you say it is to get in front here in the early stages at this track?
Not very important, because I think when you do your first pit stop is really the most crucial. So your middle stint is most crucial in this race. Also, I think using your KERS in a clever way here will really help you gaining time on someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and especially with, oh no, as we've got a little bit of contact between Granu and I believe that was Izamusing. Yep, it is Izamusing as he is letting Granu by, and he's coming under attack now from Kristian Nenov. And just ahead now, he's got Kifla. And again, though, Kifla not seeming as strong at this race as Granu's got DRS, so he finally does activate it. And he's got Kristian behind with DRS as well, as we're moving on board with F1 DJ in the Force India, who is driving from cockpit view. I believe he's, I don't think he's the only one, but he's one of the few drivers that's actually using cockpit view in the league races here, as Izamusing has a look up the inside and is going to take that position from F1 DJ as the Williams of Umar Boyaji just behind is all over the back of the Force India there, looking for a way around the prime runner there. And we're on board now with Kristian as we're rounding out the end of lap 3, and he's going to get DRS on Granu, but I think Granu is too far back to get DRS, so it's just a little bump there from Granu as he's coming back from the curbs onto the track. And Kristian, oh, there's some more contact between the two Mercedes drivers. Granu and Cem, they have had some lag issues previously in the season. So hopefully we're not seeing a return of those lag issues as Granu fighting back against Kristian, and Kristian heavy on those curbs. You really got to be careful with those curbs here in Bahrain. I'm not sure if that's something you've experienced personally, Onage, but they can definitely be lethal.
Yeah, I do. And you saw there Granu as well. As Granu is trying to go around the outside, probably not gonna work.
Oh, and there's a side pod glitch, and Granu has spun right off at turn 6 there. And that is going to drop him down to 10th place. And it looks like we're going to get a replay from Kristian's point of view. And yeah, I mean, he was about as far to the right as he could have been. I'm thinking maybe Granu just got more grip when he turned right like that than he expected possibly. And that's what caused the contact. But unfortunately, that side pod glitch just spun him right around. And he got sent right off the track and all the way to the back. He's not too far off, though. You can still see him. He's on the mini-map going through turns 9 and 10 at the moment. So he's not too far back. There's certainly positions to be made up. But that is definitely going to hurt his race significantly and probably knock him out of a chance of getting a podium, which is really unfortunate. Granu's had some pretty serious bad luck during this start of Season 8. Really bad luck in Australia, for sure. Really unfortunate. On board with Kristian at the moment, and he's got... Yeah, go ahead.
Can I come back on the curb? I mean, the curb here on the left-hand side of the track, when you go over them, I think that's why Granu gave Kristian a little bump. I think when you go over those curbs, it just can spin you out easily, and I think that's what happened with Granu when he gave the bump.
Yeah, he was probably saying, hey, I'm going to need some room here in a little bit. And it was just a little bump. You know, typically that sort of contact wouldn't cause any sort of damage or issues, but unfortunately in F1 2013, it can result in a full-on 180 spin. And,
that curb just bounces you really to the right-hand side, and I think that's what happened with Granu.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not a passing location typically through turns 5 and 6. Maybe as they're entering turn 5, but you really don't want to be going side by side with somebody through turns 6 and 7. I mean, that's really the worst part of the track, actually, other than maybe turns 11 and 12, which we're about to see at the end of this DRS straight here. Those are probably the worst locations on this track to try and get by someone. Turns 9 and 10, not that great either as well. We're on board with Jack First at the moment, and he has dropped back a little bit and from Furkan and Alex up ahead. But you got to say, Furkan looks pretty impressive. We've mentioned this before. He's a race winner from last season. And he hasn't had the best of pace at the start of this season, but clearly here in Bahrain, we're seeing a return to Furkan's performance as he is sticking right with Alex as we're rounding out lap 5, and we're going to start lap 6. And I got to imagine that we're going to be seeing some pit stops pretty soon here, possibly at the end of lap 6, lap 7, in that range for the two-stoppers anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And with these option tires, we are looking at maybe 6 to 8 laps if they're worn, and maybe a maximum of 8 or 9 laps if they're fresh.
Gotcha. So F1 DJ, certainly whenever he decides to go on his option stint, he's probably going to be looking to do a longer option stint, which is going to be beneficial. That's one of the nice parts about getting those prime tires out of the way nice and early, is you can use those option tires for even longer because they're brand new. He didn't use them in qualifying, so they're not losing anything like that. We're on board with Kifla at the moment as him and Granu have switched luck, it seems. Granu at the start of the race seeming like he was the faster he's not in a McLaren, but Granu was seeming like he was faster than Kifla at the start of the race. And Kifla now is seeing a return to his performance, as we were talking about Furkan's return to his performance earlier. And Kifla's moved up the field. He's in 4th at the moment, and it looks like he's being called in for his pit stop. So we are probably going to see the first round of pit stops starting here at the end of lap 6. And Kifla saving just a little bit of curves to help him get down that start-finish straight and into that pit box. And hopefully, I'm sure he's hoping to perform some sort of undercut on Jack First up ahead here. And he does pull into the pits, and none of the cars ahead pulled into the pits, though. So Kifla definitely looking to make an undercut on the cars up ahead here as he does go onto the prime tires. And unfortunately, we have lost connection to Cem Bolukbasi. Not the first time this season. He actually disconnected in China where he was having a really good performance. And that is just really unfortunate. We do have a bit of an expert as far as disconnecting from F1 games here from Onage. Maybe you can give us a little bit of insight into just how frustrating that can be.
After a while you get used to it and you can get mad about it, but it won't help. So the best thing is just to stay a little bit relaxed. But I think, to be honest, as we lose connection as well to Jack first.
Oh. Little moment from Alex here.
Well, a big moment from Alex.
Yeah, that was a huge moment from Alex. He pretty much came to a dead stop there. I think there was even a little bit of contact from Furkan. I'm not sure if that was actually caused from contact with Furkan. They were running pretty close, but...
No.
Yeah, I didn't...
Alex clipped the bollard with his rear wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the bollards can be just as deadly as the curbs can, as there's another bollard there at the inside of turn 13. You don't have to watch out for that one quite as much, but that bollard at turn 10 is a big target for most drivers, because I mean that's one of the corners where you can really gain and lose the most time at this track in Bahrain here. And it looked like Alex was maybe being called into the pits, but he is not going to pit. The other McLaren of Furkan Özcan is going to pit. And let's see, there is somebody in the pits behind him. It does look like Umar. Yeah, that is Umar. So Umar Boyaji, after spinning out on that first lap, I believe with Alex Gillen, actually, I think it was another side pod glitch that we experienced there. Umar Boyaji moving himself up the field very nicely, and certainly looking like he might be a contender for the podium positions, as we're on board with F1 DJ at the moment, and he's actually a full pit stop behind Alex Gillen at the moment. Or is he? No, Alex has not pit yet. I apologize, that was my mistake. Yep. Alex has not pit yet. We're on lap 8 though, so I gotta imagine Alex is gonna be pitting this lap.
Yeah, I think he's been called in, and actually I'm surprised to hear from Onage about if he's watched the races this season, and what do you think about the quality of racing this season?
If I'm gonna have to be honest here, I have seen better, and yes, the game has some lag issues and stuff like that with lag bubbles, but I've seen better. Basically, I don't think the drivers have been giving respect to each other the whole time, as we lose connection to F1 DJ as well. So there goes his strategy is now gone as well. But yeah, coming back onto that, I have seen more respect in the past, and that's it.
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's been a little bit messy for sure. There are more people that are from varying countries as well. We got 3 drivers actually now from Turkey, and there's a whole bunch of new people, and that can cause a whole bunch of problems. But it's been very close as far as the times are concerned. But yeah, it has been a little on the messy side, as we can actually see that in the previously on clips. If anybody watches those at the beginning of the races, there's a lot of contact and cars going off and stuff, which makes our job as commentators much easier, keeps things nice and exciting, but certainly as a driver, that's got to be a little bit frustrating. You know, racers are looking for a challenge, but they're certainly not looking to be knocked off the course, as Kifla's undercut has worked like a charm, and it looks like Alex has come out. We're going to get a split time here in just a second, but this looks like a solid 3 or 4 second gap between the two of them. Yeah, something like that. 2.5. Wow, that was incredibly close. Good call there, Onage. 2.5 second gap. So Alex has got a 1.5 seconds that he's going to have to claw back just to get into DRS range on Kifla up ahead. So Kifla looking like a little bit stronger, and he has been historically kinder on the tires this season than the other drivers. He's been doing 2 stops when everyone else is doing 3 stops. He's extending those option stints a little bit longer, so he has fresher prime stints and that sort of thing. So Kifla, one of those drivers this year that really seems to just be taking care of those tires. He seems to have a really smooth driving style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just about to say,
ask you.
actually. Yeah, I thought about Kifla. I just saw him driving. And it's actually pretty weird that his tires are in a good shape, as Alex managed to close down Kifla quite a lot. But his tires, it surprised me that the tires are in a good shape, because every time I see him getting oversteer, he doesn't correct it. He just lets the car slide. He keeps the wheel almost straight, really, doesn't bother correcting it, which is usually even worse for tire wear, obviously.
Interesting, yeah. He's got a different driving style from other people, and it's almost a little bit strange how successful it is. As Alex, with the 2-lap newer tires here, is getting, he flew by Kifla, really. I mean, I think he's already just about got him out of DRS range. That was a really impressive move from Alex there at the start of lap 15. And we're seeing a replay now of Kristian Nenov, as he's having some serious struggles through turn 10 there, locking his inside wheel on the prime tires and just really struggling through that turn 10. Definitely one of the harder corners on the calendar. And another replay here of Kristian. As we do see, we get our first curb incident as he's coming into the hairpin at turn 8 there. He just gets onto the curb and just loses control of the car. He does good, actually. He runs past the gravel there. That was interesting. He let the car run out past the gravel. We're going to see another replay here of Kristian on lap 13. He's getting very close to those curbs again and breaking down for the hairpin now. And what the... Holy...
Nice.
Holy cow, the bollard made of steel has apparently destroyed Kristian Nenov's Caterham. And something I meant to mention earlier, we are missing Klawutski, the other Caterham from this race. We're also missing Mini Black in the other Sauber and the second Force India of Gaston Rivero. All three of those drivers missing out in Bahrain here. So unfortunately, that is both Caterhams out of the race, as Klawutski didn't start, and Kristian has totaled his car. I'm surprised that actually didn't bring out a safety car. That's really surprising. I would have expected something like that, because he actually lost both of his front wheels in that accident.
It usually does release a safety car when a vehicle is destroyed, so that's a bit weird as well.
Yeah, definitely. As we're in lap 17 now. This is definitely a quick moving race. We're on lap 17 now, and we're with Kifla, who is behind now Umar Boyaji. And Umar having a fantastic race after that spin on lap 1. I mean, you got to wonder if maybe that just fired him up even further. You know, I mean, he put the car on pole. He was looking really good for the win, and then he just has that really unfortunate incident in turn 1. And I think that's really just brought him alive, as we get an oversteer moment from Kifla there, possibly with a little bit of that dirty air effect from the Williams up ahead. And it does look like Kifla is being called into the pits now for his second stop, and that's definitely going to be onto the prime tires, as there are 12 laps remaining in this race. And we're on board with Alex, and he doesn't really have a very commanding lead, as we can see him looking behind there. And he's going to be diving into the pits as well. So actually, Alex's strategy and Kifla's strategy seem to have merged here in the final stint of this race, after they were 2 laps separate. What happened here, Miko?
Well, Kifla, he pit first on lap 6, and then Alex pit on lap 8 when we saw that huge undercut from Kifla, getting ahead of Alex in the first pit stops, but then I guess just stretching out that middle stint, Kifla doing that, and maybe Alex struggling with the prime tires, who knows.
Yeah, I think that's, Alex stopped on 8 and then 7, so that's only 9 laps that Alex did on that prime tire. And I mean, this is definitely a tire that's capable of doing 11 or 12 laps. So that's I think that is possibly, as you said, I think Kifla may be extending by a lap and Alex possibly shortening by a lap, as we're on board with Kramma, the only Sauber in this race, and skipping ahead to lap 19. Only 10 laps remaining in this race, and we're just behind the second Ferrari of Izamusing, and we're going through Sector 2, braking for that very difficult turn 10 with that floating bollard there, and going heavy on the curbs. Man, he is brave. I would never put my car that much on the curbs at the exit of turn 10 there, but you can see he kind of went beyond. Oh man, as Granu's race just seems to be going from bad to worse there. Was he missing a front wing?
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay, yeah, Granu looking like, and I'm not sure if that was an incident with somebody or if he just had his own little issue there, as we're on board with Furkan, who is pitting from the lead at the moment. He's got 3 cars just behind going through the final corner at the moment. I assume that's Alex, Umar, and Kifla. And it's a nice 3.1 seconds pit stop. Nobody else in the pits with him, so no one to hold him up. Alex is by. It looks like Umar and Kifla are both going to get by as well. But Furkan's got these really nice fresh tires here. He's only got 10 laps to do on this final stint, so he's almost doing the reverse that Alex did. It looks like Furkan did a really long middle stint and is going to maybe try and push an attack in this final stint here. And that's a big skip. We're skipping ahead now to lap 28. This is the penultimate lap of the race. Alex Gillen in the lead at the moment with a 2.3 second gap to Kifla and only a 0.4 second gap to Umar Boyaji just behind. I mean, I don't think that Alex is really going to come under threat with 2 laps remaining. He's pretty much got this in the bag, wouldn't you say, Onage?
Yes.
Yeah, short and sweet. Yeah, he's pretty much got this sorted out, I would say, unless anything short of some serious problems, really. Although maybe I should bite my tongue here, as Kifla in just 1 sector has already taken that gap down to 1.7 seconds and actually pulled out a few tenths on Umar Boyaji. And we are going to move on board now with Kifla, who can see Alex just ahead as we're going through that turn 10 again with the floating bollard, and he's got Umar just behind. And Umar's definitely got DRS, but he's probably not going to be looking to make the pass. I think he's gotten a poor exit out of turn 10. Looks like Kifla pulled out a little bit of a gap there during that back straight, the middle DRS straight. And Kifla's got some fuel to use. He's on optimal, but he's not on -1 just yet. And he's gained another tenth or two in that middle sector. He's got it down to 1.6 on Alex. I don't think he's going to be getting DRS here. But he could possibly be getting DRS in the second DRS in the middle of the lap that we saw earlier. And it doesn't look like he's coming under too much threat from Umar at the moment, so he's probably going to be focusing all of his efforts on Alex up ahead, as it is a 1.3 second gap now to Alex. And this is really surprising because, well, I guess they pit on the same lap. So maybe you were right, Miko, when you were saying that Alex maybe struggling with the primes a little bit more than everybody else, as we get team radio there. Sorry about that.
Kifla has no curse. Kifla's curse broke.
Oh, curse! Oh no, that is the worst thing that could possibly happen at this moment in time. Yeah.
I was just about to say, if Kifla is a bit smart, he could use that second DRS zone to close down, save all of his curse, and then just deploy it in the final sector. But no way he's gonna do that now.
Yeah, and actually he is on -1 now, so all this rich mix that Kifla is using to catch up to Alex Gillen, I almost said to try to catch up, but no, there's no trying here. He has caught right up to Alex Gillen. He is right on the gearbox of that Ferrari. We're on board with Alex now, who is defending from the McLaren behind. We're going into turn 11 here, and...
Radio.
Yep, so we do get a confirmation from Alex's engineer that there is going to be that he is running out of fuel just behind. And Umar Boyaji does not look like he's in a position to capitalize on that, unfortunately, as it looks like he's now 1.7 seconds behind Kifla, as Kifla's in the slipstream of Alex Gillen. Alex Gillen going defensive, having the inside line for the final corners, 14 and 15. This is technically 2, as Kifla has run wide, and that's definitely going to cost him the lead of the race, and he's also run out of fuel. And here comes Umar Boyaji, and as they cross the line, who took it? I'm not sure. It looks like Kifla lost that position right at the end of the race there. Comes home in third place with Umar Boyaji in second. Furkan Özcan with a very impressive fourth position, only a few seconds behind that battle for the podium. And then a big gap back to Izamusing, and another big gap back to Granu, who just really had a tough race. But just by staying connected, Granu manages to get a 6th place finish and some nice points for Mercedes there, which I'm sure they're going to be very happy about considering Cem's disconnect. So in the end, we had 5 disconnects and Kristian, who totaled his car. So only half of the field actually finishing this race. And I can't help but think, Onage, what you were saying before, you know, it's just, even though I know that's not necessarily what you meant, but it's just a little bit messy with so few cars finishing, so many disconnects. Really unfortunate there. Alex is going to move ahead of Kifla in the championship. He's got a 9-point lead ahead of Kifla now. Kristian Nenov staying in 3rd place. Umar Boyaji, with his finish, is going to move up into 4th place, while Jack First drops down into 5th. Kramma is now tied with points for Klawitsky, but he's ahead of him in 6th place. And Fat First and F1 DJ both losing positions, as Furkan Özcan gets some much-needed points to help his championship. So, man, what did you think about that race, Onage?
Was good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little bit, not that many finishers, which is definitely a disappointment.
It's just sad, really, to see that. But at the same time, I was impressed by Boyashi. I mean, the momentum was against him after the first corner, but he managed to recover well from that. And I think I know what he felt like, because once that happens, you're just frustrated, and if you can turn that frustration into speed or fire, you can definitely come back, and that's what he did. So impressive stuff from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully he's a championship hopeful. Hopefully this means a turnaround for his championship, and he can move up and start having some nice solid performances. In the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari moves ahead of McLaren thanks to their double points finish there. Caterham dropping down a position on account of their drivers, Klawitsky not being there, and then Christian DNFing out of the race. Red Bull hangs on to their 4th place position, and Williams moving up into 5th place with Boyaji's impressive finish, while Force India and Sauber both dropping down some positions there. So that is going to do it for this episode. As always, there will be links to the YouTube and Twitch accounts for all the drivers who sent footage in the description of this video. I want to thank Onage for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, and it was good fun.
And of course, I want to thank Miko for doing all the editing and production work behind the scenes.
Yeah, no problem.
And thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in Catalonia.
Yeah, we'll see you there.